You're about to show me shadows of things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us. Is that so, Spirit? Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any spectre I have seen. But as I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be another man from what I was, I am prepared to bear you company, and do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me? Lead on, lead on. The night is waning fast, and it is precious time to me. I know. Lead on, Spirit.
No, I don't know much about it either way. I know he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
What was the matter with him? I thought he'd never die.
God knows.
What has he done with the money?
I haven't heard. Left it to his company, perhaps. He hasn't left it to me. That's all I know. It's likely to be a cheap funeral, for upon my life I don't know if anybody'd go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer?
I don't mind going if a lunch is provided, but I must be fed if I make one.
Well, I am most disinterested among you, after all, for I never wear black gloves and never eat lunch, but I'll offer to go if anybody else will. When I come to think of it, I'm not at all sure that I wasn't his most particular friend, for we used to stop and speak whenever we met. Bye.
Look here, old Joe. Here's a chance. If we haven't all three met here without meeting it.
You haven't left me in a better place. Come into the parlor. You were made free of it long ago, you know. And the other two ain't strangers. Stop till I shut the door of the shop. Ah, how it squeaks. There ain't such a rustic bed of metal in the place as its own hinges. I believe, and I'm sure there's no such old bones here as mine. Ha 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 ha! We're all suitable to our calling. We're well matched. Come into the parlor. Come into the parlor.
What odds, then? What odds, Mrs. Dilber? Every person has a right to take care of themselves. He always did.
That's true indeed. No man more so.
Why then, don't stand staring as if you was afraid, woman. Who's the wiser? We're not going to pick holes in each other's coats, I suppose.
No, indeed, we should hope not.
Very well, then. That's enough. Who's the worse for all the loss of a few things like these? Not a dead man, I suppose.
No, indeed.
If he wanted to keep them after he was dead, a wicked old screw, why wasn't he natural in his lifetime? If he had been, he'd have had somebody to look after him when he was struck with death, instead of lying gasping out his last there, alone by himself.
It's the truest word that ever was spoke. It's a judgment on him.
I wish it was a little heavier judgment, and it should have been. You may depend on it. Open that bundle, old Joe, and let me know the value of it. Speak out plain. I'm not afraid to be the first, nor afraid for them to see it. We knew well that we were helping ourselves before we met here. I believe it's no sin. Open the bundle, Joe.
That's your account. And I wouldn't give another sixpence if I was to be boiled for not doing it. Who's next?
Mrs. Dilber?
I always give too much to ladies. It's a weakness of mine, and that's the way I ruin myself. That's your account. If you asked me for another penny and made it an open question, I'd repent of being so liberal and knock off half a crown.
And unto my bundle, Joe.
What do you call this? Bed curtains?
Ah, bed curtains.
You don't mean to say you took 'em down, rings of all, with him lying there?
Yes, I do. Why not?
You were born to make your fortune, and you'll certainly do it.
I certainly can't hold my hand when I can get anything in it by reaching out. For the sake of such a man he was, I promise you, Joe, Don't drop that oil up on the blankets now.
His blankets?
Whose else's do you think? He isn't likely to take cold without 'em, I dare say.
I hope he didn't die of anything catching, eh?
Don't you be afraid of that. I ain't so fond of his company that I'd loiter about him for such things if he did. Ah, you may look through that shirt till your eyes ache, but you won't find a hole in it. Not a threadbare place. It's the best he had, and a fine one, too. They'd have wasted it if it hadn't been for me.
What do you call wasting of it?
Putting it on him for him to be buried in. To be sure. Somebody was fool enough to try to do it, but I took it off again. If calico ain't good enough for such a purpose, it isn't good enough for anything. It's quite as becoming to the body. This is the end of it. You see, he frightened everyone away from him when he was alive to profit us when he was dead.
Spirit, I see. The case of this unhappy man might be my own. My life tends that way now. Merciful heaven, what is this? Spirit, this is a fearful place. In leaving it, I shall not have left its lesson. Trust me, let us go. If there be any person in town who feels emotion caused by this man's death, show that person to me, Spirit. I beseech you.
Is it good or bad?
Bad.
We're quite ruined.
No, there is hope yet, Carolyn.
If he relents, there is nothing past hope if such a miracle has happened.
He is past relenting. He is dead.
Let me see some tenderness connected with the death, or it will forever be present to me.
And he took a child and set them in the midst of them.
The color hurts my eyes.
They're better now again, and I wouldn't show weak eyes to your father for the world. It must be near his time.
Past it, rather, but I think he has walked a little slower than he used to these few past evenings, Mother.
I have known him walk with Tiny Tim upon his shoulder, and very fast indeed.
And so have I often.
I also often.
So have I.
He was very light to carry, and your father left him so that it was no trouble. And there's your father at the door. Sunday? You went today then, Robert?
Before I draw nearer to that stone to which you point, answer me one question. Are these shadows of things that will be, or are they shadows of things that may be only? Men's courses will foreshadow certain ends to which, if persevered in, that must lead. But if their courses be departed from, the ends will change. Say it is thus with what you show me. Am I that man who lay upon the bed? No, Spirit, no. Spirit, hear me. I am not the man I was. I would not be the man I must have been, but for this inner course. Why, show me this if I am past all hope. Good Spirit, your nature intercedes me and pities me. Assure me that I yet may change these shadows you have shown me by an altered life. I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons they teach. Oh, tell me I may sponge away the writing on this stone.